Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Effective Resume Thursdays. We're very glad you're with us. It's August 19th, 2021. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, and if you have your microphone or camera on, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments that you make in the Zoom chat window do not appear in the Zoom recording. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just put them right in the chat box. And for those on Facebook, if you put your comments into your questions in the comment field, I am monitoring that feed, and I'll be sure to get those questions answered or asked for you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org to help those who were unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I started a second website, careerusa.org, to help people outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and I'll tell you about our programming tomorrow morning at the end of the session. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, also known as the PIT crew. I'm sure people spend the most time on their resumes, the next amount of time on LinkedIn profile, and the least amount of time practicing your interviewing skills. So if you'd like to have a free interview, please reach out to me and I'll be glad to forward you some information about the practice interview team. Where our speaker today is Rex Saiot. Many of you know Rex if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Rex, for 20 years, has led the Frisco Career Transition Workshop. It used to be out in Double Oak, Texas, back when I first saw it 15, 18 years ago. Rex is one of the co-founders of that, and he currently is the Human Resource Recruitment Staffing Manager at Jungle Aviation and Radio Services. In fact, on my calendar today, it says today is National Aviation Day. So I don't know if that's anything special or not, but Rex is with us. He's going to talk about strategies to beat the ATS system. So Rex, thank you for being with us, and it's all yours.
All right, it's a pleasure to be with everyone. I just wanted to give a real recognition to the service work that Jeff has been doing for years and years and years. Career DFW now has a national brand. So we are so fortunate for Jeff's continued leadership and devotion. I appreciate it. I'm going to switch over to a shared screen. I want to continue. Let me find my slide set. Okay. Let me get this to a slideshow. Let's do this from the beginning. I think that I've got it on slide share. Jeff, are you seeing that as well?
I'm seeing the presentation mode, so you probably need to change your display setting. We're seeing what the presenter would see.
Okay. Is there there's a lot of icons here. Let's see, display. Let's see, go to display setting.
And just right there, swap presenter and slideshow.
Okay.
If you click that, it'll give us the full screen.
Okay.
There you go.
A little bit better.
Yes, we are. That's great.
Okay. What I'm going to do for the folks on the call, and thank you so much for allowing me to present and to serve you today. I'm going to try to do a much deeper dive into the applicant tracking system, and I want you coming out of this meeting to understand how your resume can be more competitive, can stand out through the technology part of the staffing process. This is the applicant, this is with the applicant tracking system. A lot of people want to find out, is there a way that I can make my resume stand out from others within for many people that apply. To the right of the screen, everyone, 80%, I'm believing, I don't have any studies or statistics on this, but I'm believing, I'll be a little bit more conservative, 70% of all candidates who submit their resume on an applicant tracking system will go through Oracle. Oracle is the number one. Oracle Taleo is the number one applicant tracking system. SAP, SuccessFactors, iCIMS, very strong, top 4 applicant tracking system. JobVite has always shown great presence with an applicant tracking system, and Sage HR is the applicant tracking system technology that we use here at JARS. Of these, I've helped configure for my company at least 3 of these applicant tracking systems. What you see on the right, let me see if I can bring my annotator up on this. Do people see a small, a small?
Yes, we see the arrow.
Super. If you are applying for a top company, Fortune 500, it could be Google, it could be Apple, it could be Southwest Airlines, it could be Accenture, it could be Baylor. Your resume is probably going to have to be submitted into that company using an ATS. Looking at the numbers that we have, people submitting in their resumes. I took this information approximately in 2018. At that point, the average number of people submitting or applying for a given job is 118. On the average, corporate job offers attract 250 resumes. The statistic that I want to share with this organization is, Rex, how long does it take for the first candidate to hit the applicant tracking system? Jeff, it's about 48 seconds. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over hacks, recommendations, suggestions on how you might be able to be the standout resume, or your resume to be the standout resume out of 250 resumes. What I'd like to do, Jeff, is as questions come up, usually I wait till the end, ask them. I just wanted to let the team know that I'm going to plow through a lot of content, and I'm going to gain speed throughout this presentation. So just ask away, guys. Okay. Okay, hold on one second. There's a way for when I have this annotator, it doesn't behave the way that I want to. Let me move, let me get out of that. I'm not going to share my annotator. I'm just going to go through. People on the call, I'm going to go over specifically, I think about 7 or 8 ways to improve your resume so it stands out in the applicant tracking system. The first one that I have is keyword optimization. Now, I know that people have gone through a lot of workshops that say that keywords are the things that will pop up most when applying for the position. Basically, the keyword content that you have will help score your resume best and have your resume stand out of, I'm going to keep on using the 250 resumes that gets submitted into corporate jobs. It's not only keywords. I want to point out to the team that the ATS algorithms are getting so advanced. It's not only the number of keywords, it's the location of those keywords. So when Rex, what's the What's the application learning that you're trying to get through to me right now? When you do the resume, and I call it the job title marquee, that where your resume will show the job title that you're applying for. It is the job title that is in the job posting. Put that job title right underneath your name. When you do that, the ATS algorithm will give you a higher score or more points. As a matter of fact, the places or the location of where you put your keywords, the power location is the first half of the resume. If you can overpopulate your resume with the keywords, I get this every time, Jeff. What are the keywords? Is there a special website that says keywords? The best place to find keywords is where? The job posting. Rex, what's the best keyword that I can look at? Job title. So I'll give you an example of what that means. If you're looking for a position as a senior auditor, the more times that you can put the term senior auditor on your resume, or a deviation of the term auditor, auditing, quality audits, audit control, all of those terms will be picked up in the keyword. This is something that I've never known before, Jeff. If you put that keyword in each job title or each job company that you worked at, your score goes higher. So it's a situation where, for example, I used to work at these companies: Computer Sciences Corporation, Hewlett Packard, digital equipment, for those people that remember that, Trinity Industries. It just tells people that I've been laid off a lot. If I use the term, I'll give you an example, Oracle NetSuite, in each one of those jobs, your resume gets what? A higher score. And I get this question a lot. How when I put keywords into my resume, what threshold am I looking for? I believe that your resume will stand out if 10% of your resume has keywords in it. I've given you already a hint on what the best keyword is. It's located within the job title. I give this story every time. Jeff has heard this story every time. If you've heard my if you heard my presentation before, you'll hear this story again. I get a phone call, 3 o'clock. It's a Sunday. A person on the line says, "Rex, are you from Trinity Industries?" "Yes, I am." "Are you looking for a accounts receivable manager?" "Yes, I am." "May I have your email address that I can send with my resume to this position to your email address at work?" "Yes, you may." I give him my email address. "Can you get it to me by Monday?" "Yes, I can." I open up the resume. Guess what keyword is not in there? Accounts receivable manager. Coming out of this meeting, people are going to be much smarter on how they manage their resumes. Guess what? There is a new normal, but I like to call it next normal. With the remote or hybrid workforce that's out there right now, that will continue to be a game changer. If you can use the term remote, if you've been working remote at many jobs, your last jobs, put the term remote in there. It will draw more people. Guess what the number 4 word that I'm looking for, that I've seen in analysis time after time after time? If you've mentored people before, supervised people before, coached people before, use those keywords. The more remote that we get, guess what? The more mentoring that we're going to need. If you've been a manager before, a supervisor before, a director before, a vice president before, guess what? You've mentored. You need to show that. let's see, next slide. Okay. Maximizing your internal resources, your professional references. One of the things that, and I've never given this tip before other than this presentation, always provide a professional reference section at the end of your resume. Use or over leverage or take advantage of the trusted network individuals from within the organization that you're applying to. And when you can do so, showing it at the very end, I think people have used the term references provided upon request. My recommendation, put a professional references section. Guess what? If there is an immediate supervisor that's already within that company, using the name of that individual on your professional reference section is going to be a plus for you. If you know of a senior or C-level referral, use that individual's name. Put the job title, put the company name, put the telephone, put the email. Guess what? If it gets to my desk and I see Bob Smith as the Vice President of Operations and Sales Logistics, and you give that individual as a name in the professional references, the first thing that I do is what? I call Bob Smith and I say, Bob, do you know this Brian Kasperi? Or Kasperi, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that, Brian. And if he says, Rex, great candidate, guess what? I don't have, Brian's name is a name that I call because of that reference. So put the reference. Rex, you're asking me to do a lot of work, so I'm going to have to go into my LinkedIn, try to find an individual that is in the company, preferably an immediate supervisor or a peer or a C-level person. Yeah, I'm asking you to do that homework. There are a few things that are out there right now than grit and hustle that people can get a job for. You might not be able to control an outcome of an interview situation or a hiring situation, but you can control your effort. Let's go to the next position, learning. Okay, these are some quick hits that I put together. Some lightning round stuff that I'd like your resume to show that might get you around or through the applicant tracking system. Chronological resumes are in. Functional resumes are out. If you have a functional resume, now converted to a chronological resume. The reason why 80% or more of the resumes are chronological. Why is that important? Recruiters like to see the familiar. If you have to list anything, ladies and gentlemen, do so with bullets. So take out anything that looks like what I call a running resume or running text, and rely on bullets, because the recruiter's eye behavior tracks from left to right, and our eyes start getting lazy if we have to read all the way to the right part of the page. It's been taught a lot, Jeff. I'm just going to reiterate this just for a little bit. How many seconds does it take for a good recruiter to take a look at a resume? 6 seconds. For most of the senior recruiters, it can take 4 seconds. It could take 3.5 seconds. Here's what I'm trying to get across. Devote or design your resume for speed, and using bullets will get more speed out of the game for you. Switch fonts of your resume to something much more familiar. If your resume is in Vulcan or Wingding, it ain't going to work. Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri is a recommendation. In most applicant tracking systems, it gives you the ability to either upload your resume or to type in your resume. My recommendation, upload your resume. And if you could upload your resume, I get this question a lot, guys. Do I upload a resume in PDF or Word? Do it in Word. Why are you saying Word, Rex? Because the Google team is saying that when people upload their resumes on the Google applicant tracking system, it's a better match for them. I'll always go with the Google recruitment team. What's coming on strong, everyone, is Google Docs, or what's called Google Works. Rex, should I go with Microsoft Word or Google Works? Go with Microsoft Word. Why? More familiar. More familiar. My recommendation is at least the first half of your resume show your last or current job. As a matter of fact, my recommendation is in your current or last job, I have something called the rule of 8. Show 8 bullet points that show strong qualification or quantifiable results for that. Rex, give me an example of that. Overachieved, 3 years overachieved sales budget by approximately 43% in new market products. That generated $1.2 million in additional company revenue. That is a quantifiable result. Rex, how many quantifiable results are you looking for? If there is a bullet point that you want to represent on your resume, I think it should be quantifiable. Why is that? It gives scope and scale to the responsibility or duty that you're showing. I get this question a lot, Jeff. It probably comes up. Rex, is there a optimal size for the resume? Should I go with the one pager? Jeff, 7 years ago, that the urban myth came out again. I thought it was squashed somewhere in the 1990s. A one-page resume for the people that are on this call, it ain't going to happen unless you put it at 5.75 font. Guys, go to the second page. Go to the third page. It's compelling. I'll go to the fourth page to take a look at your background. So my resume goes 3.5 pages, Jeff, but I'm an old guy. So if you think, hey, should 3 pages or 2.5 pages, completely okay. And I'll tell you why it's more okay. The applicant tracking system, does the applicant tracking system count pages? No, it counts files. A file can be 8 pages. A file could be 2 pages. A file could be 1 page. The applicant tracking system doesn't count pages. Why is that important? The reason why it's important is that you could fit more keywords onto your resume when you do that.
Rex,
yes.
JP has a question here saying, could you expand on eliminating all block paragraph text for duties and responsibilities?
Yeah, hold on once. Let's, JP, hold that question because I've got a slide set that answers that question, okay? And if I don't get to, JP, if I don't get to your question on that slide set, call me again on it and we'll answer that. Is that okay, JP?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm giving you what it looks like a weather report. I always give this. This is seminal. If people haven't seen this before, then I think it'll be insightful. If they've been in my presentation, then please bear with me. There was seminal research given by Ladders, so let me attribute them to what you're seeing in front of you. What Ladders was doing was that they showed or they had a visual device put on recruiters to look at where they were looking at on the resume. Let me repeat that again. Ladders had a gaze device on where the recruiter was looking on the resume. Why is that important? where we look is where critical thinking happens. So I wanted to show you anything that looks like it's in the red or yellow, that's where the recruiter was looking at. So what you see in front of you is now trend behavior. Look where most of those recruiters were looking at. Were they looking at right or middle to right? No, they were looking from left to middle. So JP, on your question, when you on a block or on a job where I see the individual's listing of resumes that look like this, that doesn't track with what the recruiter is looking for. We read the resume like this. So if you look like if your resume again starts going and looking like text or language that takes my eye from left all the way to right, you're losing something from the resume. Now look very, very carefully where my I'm sorry, based on this, Jeff, I like this slide better. There are 7 critical hotspots on your resume that I'm going to be taking a look at. On the first page, my eye is going left, down, left to center, down, left to center, down, left to center, down. Looking at sections 2 and 3, those power spots, what's the recruiter looking at? Your current or last job. That's what they're looking at. And JP, look at how this is formatted. It's by bullet point. Okay. So that's why I always say go with bullet points. Second, on the second page, you're seeing 4, 5, 6, and 7. What's the recruiter looking for in there? They're looking for affirmation of the skill set that you're looking that was started on the first page. By the way, Rex, to get through 1, 2, and 3, how many seconds does that take? About 2.1 seconds. I haven't timed it, but I can scan very, very quickly. Jeff is he's a seasoned recruiter. He can go through these things very, very quickly. I want to point people to section 7. What's usually in section 7? Education, right? Put your education down there, and guess what's going to be down there at the end as well? Your professional references. And they're going to get to take a look at, individual from Texas A&M, School of Business, major in accounting and finance with a specialization or a minor in analytics. Sorry for that for the Longhorn fans. But that's why my recommendation, don't give your resume away for your education too early. A lot of people ask, where should I put my my education? Put it at the end. Force me to look through your resume. Force me to take 4 more seconds to take a look at your resume. And guess what? If you have Bob Smith again as the senior executive sales logistics manager, I get to see that, and I call Bob Smith and I see how great Karen Evans is. Okay.
Rex, we can't see section 7. Are you able to maybe scroll down or zoom out a little bit?
Darn it.
How about control minus?
Control minus. Let me
Try
see.
that.
Hold on one second. Let me. Is it really the minus sign, or is it?
Yeah, the minus sign on above the by all your numbers.
Okay.
That may or may not work. I don't know.
Okay. Guys, on power number 7, Jeff, you have my slide set. Please send it out. Okay, but if people can trust me, the seventh critical hotspot, gay spot is number 7, which is the last part of page 2 on this candidate's resume.
And
Okay.
can you, and who did this research again? Somebody was asking, who was the researchers?
Ladders.
Ladders.com. Okay.
This came out when I started to take a look at this, and it started to come out, I'd say 2013, 2014, Jeff, is when I saw it. And most people don't have this, but the visual was great. So I use it in my presentation and I attribute it. But it was Ladders. Okay.
Karen asked a good question. How many references should we list there? Just 1 or 2?
The minimum 3, but if, and who gave that question?
Karen.
Karen, thanks for the question, Karen. 2 is not enough. 3 is standard industry. I've seen 5 tends to be the most, but it's also not only the reference, it's the relationship. If it's your immediate manager, that's who I want to get to. If it's the senior level, that's who I'm going to call second. If it is a peer colleague, Karen, then I'll probably call that person third. Okay. Does that help?
And
yeah.
And should they be, and I'm asking this, should they be contacts inside the company or just whoever your personal reference, whoever your reference?
Inside the company is more powerful. So if it's a situation where the relationship capital that you can do to squeeze out individuals in, let's say, Accenture. If you're going for a position for Accenture and guess what? The next door neighbor, your next door neighbor, Sally Benson, is the senior executive of communications and marketing messaging. And you are applying for a principal quality control analyst at Accenture. I'm going to be calling Susan, and I'm going to say that, hey, is Karen Evans any good? And she's going to say she's terrific. My next call is to Karen and say, Karen, would you like an interview? Or can I have 30 minutes of your time? So that something that's happening also, Jeff, that I'm seeing coming on over the last 8 months, employee referrals. So more people should be within the company, even that much more eager for you to help, because some of the, I saw something really, really strange the other day. It was a $500 referral fee bonus signing for someone at McDonald's. It was right on the marquee, and I thought, okay, if McDonald's is doing that, then I'm sure that Google is doing that. Okay, so just a note. Let's power through. We had that. Okay. Brand. This is brand management. If you can convince the reader that the details of your resume aligns with the employer's distinctive brand, please do so. What do you mean by that, Rex? If you're applying for SpaceX, you know what the brand is for Elon Musk's SpaceX. It's entrepreneurial, it's growth. Guess what? Put that on your resume. Show that on your responsibilities. If you're applying for Amazon, what are they looking at in terms of brand? They're looking at customer obsession. So your key words that you're looking for: customer service, guest experience, guest engagement, service engagement. All of those things will attract the Amazon person. If you're applying for Walmart, guess what? Your resume emphasizes cost consciousness. So show showing your brand and a good alignment with that employer's distinctive brand is would be very, very important for me. Again, Jeff, I'll bring this up. Rex, this is a lot of work. Yeah. A one size, if people are using one resume to apply for multiple jobs, you're shortchanging your resume. Managers know when you are using a cookie cutter, one size fits all resume. Guess what? If it's a one size fits all, it's a one size that never fits anything. The learning is customize your resume. It makes a difference. Let's go to the next, leveraging. Sometimes timing might not be everything, but it might be the only thing. I'm borrowing this from Vince Lombardi. I wanted to show people, Rex, is there a better time to apply? And the answer to that is yes. If you apply on Monday, it increases your hiring chances 46% of the time, according to TalentWorks. Why is that? Because many people apply over the weekend. The best traffic that I see, Jeff, for candidates, they apply on Saturday, they apply on Sunday because the work week is too long and they get too busy. But if you apply on Monday, I like this analysis. It increases your hiring chances by 46%. If you get getting a chance for an interview, so it's not the hiring, it's interviewing, 5 times higher if you submit your application before 10 o'clock. Why is that? When I get to my computer, I open up my applicant tracking system. What time do I usually look to see when candidates have applied over the evening? It's in the morning hours. So if I see a good candidate and let's say it's Karen Evans, guess what? Karen looks terrific. When do I call her? I start getting my interviewing schedule done for the afternoon, sometimes before, guess when? 10 o'clock. Okay. I saw when I saw this next source from Smart Recruiters, I absolutely positively, of all the stats that I'm giving you guys, I like the last stat. If you apply within the first 96 hours that the job is posted, it'll boost your competitiveness by 64.7%. As a matter of fact, 60% of the and I'm sorry, I'm moving my my images. Nearly 60% of the candidates apply the first week. Why is that? Does it look like Rex is going to take a look at 250 resumes? I can't. If I find the candidate in the first 25, do I have to take a look at candidate number 26? No, I don't. The learning here, the early bird does catch the worm. If you apply very, very quickly with a customized resume, yeah, that boosts your percentages significantly. I get a lot of questions, Jeff, on Rex. I've seen this position open for a couple months now. Should I waste my time? I'll say this. Yeah, I've hired individuals after 3 months of having a job posting. But if there's urgency from the hiring manager, Jeff, guess what? They want to see resumes, they want to see candidates, and they want to see hires quicker or slower. Absolutely quicker. Absolutely quicker. Let's go to the next slide. I wanted to give information here on who I am, where I am. I just relocated about about 18 months ago to Charlotte. I lived 21 years in Dallas, in Louisville, Flower Mound area. Both my kids went to Flower Mound Marcus. And I'm not a Carolina Panther fan yet, but I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan either. So just to let people know, If you have any questions, please call. Love to talk to you. I gave you my personal cell. If you want to email me, I've given your team, Jeff, 2 ways of getting in touch with me. It's about, my clock says 2:42. I wanted to answer any sort of questions that people have. If they do have questions, if not, I'll make up questions for people.
Well, Lisa had a question. Should we include bulleted summary of qualifications before the experience section? Does the ATS system see and recognize this area of a resume?
Yeah, the answer to that is yes. They will recognize a bullet point. I'll use the term Oracle NetSuite because that's our ERP right now. Who gave that? What was the first name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for the question. The applicant tracking system will pick that up in at the first part of your resume in bullet points. So Lisa, if I'm understanding correctly on how you want to design it, you have highlights on your resume, and then you put bullet points, and then after that you start putting your employment history. Guess what? If you put NetSuite, Oracle NetSuite, within your employment area and include NetSuite in every job, the applicant tracking system will give you a higher score than what you get on by putting Oracle NetSuite on top of your resume. So let me clarify that. If you have 4 jobs where you use Oracle NetSuite, guess what? Keep on pounding Oracle NetSuite for every job, because the applicant tracking system will give you a higher score in their with their algorithm. That, Jeff, that is a new algorithmic scoring, by the way. It's probably come up over the last 2 years. Guys, here is the learning. The sophistication of the applicant tracking system is, I've never seen it higher. And it's getting better and better, and going to things like what Jeff is doing, understanding how this technology, where people pour 80% of all of their resumes, is so helpful. So keep on tuning into what Jeff and his subject matter experts have.
All right, let's see here. Oh, question. Karen wants to know, so do you post jobs during the week and not on weekends? Or if you have to post a job, when do you do that?
The best posting day for, and Karen, have you been a manager?
Yes, I have.
Okay, here's how I behave as a recruiter. If I was Karen's recruiter, I didn't want her to chew me out on Monday. So she would ask the question on Monday, Rex, did you post my job? And then I would say to her, because I don't want to be yelled at, absolutely. Rex, did you do it before the weekend? Absolutely. I did it when? On Friday. Why is that? The candidate flow is more on which days than any two consecutive days, Saturday and Sunday. So generally speaking, if I wanted to get a jump on that candidate flow, I put it in over the, I put Karen's position in, let's say, senior financial auditor on Friday. Okay. Karen, does that answer the question?
Well, you're saying that you don't take any candidates that post on the weekend. So if you're trying to decide how you can fit into that Monday morning slot, I
Yeah.
guess you see the job on Friday and then you just be prepared then to shoot it in on Monday morning.
Yeah, here's what the elite recruiters do, Karen. I'm checking my applicant tracking system on Saturday evening. I'm tracking it on Sunday evening.
Mhm.
Taleo does something really, really cool. I can score every posting that says that if I see a keyword match, or if the system shows me a keyword match of 70%,
Mhm.
that resume automatically goes into my email, and I don't even have to go into my applicant tracking system. My system forces me to take a look at that candidate over the weekend without me going into the system. So very strong recruiters. I'm checking it, for Karen's hot job. I'm checking it at 12 o'clock Saturday, 5 o'clock Saturday, 12 o'clock Sunday, 5 o'clock Sunday, and I've got some good candidates that I'm ready to call on Monday morning.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Something you haven't talked about, but I know is true, the ATS does the ATS block tables? So if you have a Word document, you've created a table of keywords or something.
Yeah.
How do the ATS systems handle tables?
Most and let me attribute this, and I want to hear what Jeff says also, because he's a great subject matter expertise. I'm going to attribute this to Dirk Spencer, who brought up in his articles, his books, that in a table, the applicant tracking system, because the table is an image, it cannot accurately show the contents within an image. So I'm going to go with Mr. Dirk Spencer, saying that stay away from tables, because too many applicant tracking systems cannot see the content in that table. Now, let's get around that, because tables are pretty to look at. When you're in the interview and you have your prettier resume that has a lot of table space, that's when you can give it, because someone's eye will not eliminate content in a table. Jeff, I'd like to hear your input.
Yeah, I agree. I think everything you said, just don't use tables on the ATS system. I mean, one of the things I've always heard is take your Word document, save it as a TXT file, because what will happen is it'll strip out all the special characters, all the tables, anything that an ATS couldn't see. And this was years ago. So, I mean, ATSs I know are getting better and better, but by stripping it down to an ATS to a TXT file, you've gotten rid of any bolding, everything. You've made it easier. I know Dirk used to always say, left justify everything on your resume that you're going to submit to an ATS system.
Right. I'm gonna pick on the graphic artist, Jeff.
My daughter's a
You
graphic.
guys
My
come up
daughter's
with
a
the
graphic
prettiest
artist.
looking resumes that I've ever seen. I mean, just beautiful. Unicorns that sit underneath rainbows, with a light rain that's falling. It's an image, guys. I can't see it. Okay, so you've gone. It's a beautiful work of art, but I'd rather see a resume with content.
Right. My daughter is a UX designer, so a graphic designer. When she was laid off from IBM along with 25,000 other people, of course, she creates this beautiful resume that matches her website. And of course, she doesn't listen to Dad because Dad doesn't know anything. And luckily, she had a management consulting firm that allowed IBM paired her up with somebody. And of course, what she actually used to apply for a job was what we talk about every day. It wasn't her pretty resume, but you know, of course, kids don't listen to their dads.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the tulips with the basket full of Labrador puppies just doesn't translate on the resume, guys. So
Right.
stay away.
So Janet asked, how do you handle gaps in employment, especially during the time of the pandemic?
Okay. At this time of the pandemic, Janet, this is one of the most forgivable times that I've seen in 30 years. If it's a situation where there is a downsizing, reorganization, or a acquisition, then one can say that, and you could say that on the resume as well. Janet, this is what they're really looking for. Were they fired for incompetence or performance or misconduct? So how you handle the gap of employment, one can say on the resume, it's acceptable, it's okay that the reorganization, or my company's reorganized their accounting organization by 40% and unfortunately laid off 27 people. Okay. Now here is something else, Jeff, that I've seen over the last 5 to 7 years that is totally permissible. It's a situation where people are caring for elderly adults or parents, and saying that you were the primary caregiver for your father is now so acceptable. Janet, does that help?
Yes, it's not.
If not, give me a shout.
Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Another question. Teresa says, one slide says Monday was a great day to apply. Does that mean if we apply Sunday evening, that would be the top of the ATS on Monday morning, or maybe pushing it down the list and a bit too early to apply?
Yeah, Sunday's even better. Who gave that question again? First name?
Teresa.
Teresa, the brilliance that I get from that question is that you're speeding up the process. You're speeding the recruiter's behavior. If you have a compelling resume, put it in on Sunday. I'll see it before I come in. Usually one of the last things that I do on a Sunday evening at 8 o'clock is to take a look at resumes. I know that sounds dysfunctional, obsessive, but that's what I do as a recruiter. So submitting it on Sunday evening, totally 100% cool.
Going back to the primary caregiver, Lenora says, I'm a primary caregiver for my mom. When they hear that, they don't ask any more questions. Well, I think the key is you have to make sure, if you list it on your resume, first of all, you don't want to tell somebody you're the active primary caregiver, because anybody's going to think, well, you've got other things to do. You're occupied. You're not going to be able to dedicate yourself to this job. If you're doing that and it's on a resume, you want to make sure that you put down, the situation has been taken care of, or you're no longer doing it. Because when you're actively doing it and you're telling people that well, this is what I do actively, people are going to be hesitant to hire somebody.
Right. Jeff, I saw a question from Tom. I'd like you to answer that question. Your knowledge of that answer, I think I'd like to yield to.
Is there a good SW product that can scan your resume against job requirements and recommend edits to get past the ATS system? Well, there's a program out there called jobscan.co. It is .co, not .com.
Yeah.
The free version gives you like 5 different times before it then wants to charge you. You can always go clear your cache and do it again, or go jump on it via incognito mode, and you should be able to do it more often. The thing you got to be careful of is if you copy the entire job description and you include vacation benefits, 401k, and everything like that, you don't have those terms on your resume. So make sure you only copy the job description, the part of the job description that would be pertinent to what you're trying to compare yourself to. So that way it'll get better. You're never going to hit 100%. You're probably never going to be in the 90s, but it's just a matter of what can you do to get yourself up higher and using those keywords. And like Rex said, making sure those keywords are all the way through your resume. You just don't want to list it once. Kurt Vondermatter, who's a retained search consultant here in Dallas, does a LinkedIn presentation. When he searches for people using the LinkedIn recruiting package, one day he went and put in a term and boom, up comes this person. And when he looked at this person's profile, the term only popped up one time in the entire profile. Well, he went, obviously this person doesn't really have that experience, and moved on. So making sure, as Rex said, making sure you have those key words in every job description and in your, talking about that is going to move you up and make it, recruiters want to see it all throughout the resume. How do you handle it if you were fired or forced out?
Okay. 90% of the time, Janet, thanks for the question, is this gets really, really sensitive. I find out, Jeff, that, okay, I won't put a number on it, but most of the time, the reason why they were involuntarily separated or they were forced out was because the job changed. Janet, I'm going to take it that the job changed significantly based on your first interview and when you left. If that's the case, management changed, okay, then this is the reason why you left. Management reorged the either department or changed my role. It doesn't say anything about involuntary termination, being forced out. It is truthful and it's accurate when you could say management reorganized my department, or use the term reorganization.
Here's a great story. This came from my North Dallas group. We had a lady who got hired. She worked herself for a few months to get into this athletic firm. 3 weeks after she got the job. She was so excited because she really wanted to do this. 3 weeks later, her boss got fired. They brought in somebody else. He went and laid off everybody because he wanted to bring in his own people that he knew that he could hire. And so 3 weeks later, she's back, with us, and she's almost in tears. But it's like, it's not your fault. When you get a new manager, all bets are off.
And saying it or understanding, again, most times something changed. Let's point to that root cause of why you left. And if it wasn't misconduct, if it wasn't performance, then just state that management changed. My organization was redeployed. Everyone had to move to Brazil. Okay. All of those things are acceptable for the recruiter. All I'm listening to is, was it because of a performance issue or misconduct? Janet, it was neither for you. Something changed, and that was the reason why you were separated.
Right. And if you want help talking about how you left your last job or why you had to leave or any of those circumstances, Mark McDonald, who does our interview workshop on Wednesdays, that's the one thing that he will work with people on. And that's the only subject he'll counsel on. So if you're interested and you'd like to talk with him, I'll put some information in the chat window, or you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to get that information to you. Well,
Yeah,
Rex, we're at the top of the hour. I know you're very, very busy. So thank you very, very much for your time. Great information today. It's stuff that we don't tend to hear because you're using the ATS system every day. We don't get that anyplace else. So Rex, thank you very, very much for your time. All right, if you'd like to get a sample resume, a sample bio, a sample T cover letter, And I'll include the information from the Dallas Pit Crew, which talks about interviewing. You can send an email to resume@careerdfw.org. Let me know that you'd like to have the resume package, and I will send those 5 documents to you. And you can, use those for some information to help out. So and in that Pit Crew information is the same way you reach out to Mark McDonald, who can help you with why did you leave your last job. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week now. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow morning at 9:30 at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting. Our speaker is going to be Don. He's going to talk about personal branding. Next Tuesday, Ruth Lipscomb will be with us to talk about LinkedIn search engine optimization. We do LinkedIn presentation every Tuesday at 1. Next Wednesday for for interviewing, our interviewing session, video interviewing. We all have to do it now because that's sort of the way it is right now. And then on Thursday, we flip-flop. This week was resumes. Next week, we'll be back about networking. So the topic is networking, the core of your search with Ford Myers. We've had 21 different speakers talking about networking, and Ford is either number 21 or 22. I forget which one he is. So it's a great little set of different speakers. Networking is important, and everybody talks about it a little bit differently. So please join us. This session has been recorded. All the sessions will be recorded, and they will be on the Career DFW Facebook page. And the easier way to view them is on the Career USA YouTube channel. Please follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really, really appreciate it. On the YouTube channel, it is the Career USA YouTube channel. Click on playlist where you see the green arrow, and then down below, pick whichever session you want. Resumes, interviewing, LinkedIn. And when you do that, don't click on the video, but click down below where you see the red arrow where it says view full playlist. And then you'll have an opportunity to see all the different topics and titles in chronological order. And you can go back and pick whichever topic it is you'd like to hear about and like to read. If the newest one's not on top, click on that little sort button at the very top, and you'll get the newest one to the very, very top. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops, if not getting a daily email, please join the Career USA mailing list. You can send an email to Career USA, the + subscribe at groups.io. You'll never get spam, but you will get a daily email along with the title of the day, the topic of the day, and the Zoom link of the day. So you can just click right on that link and join us. Please note, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Rex is a volunteer today. I'm a volunteer. I've never gotten paid to do any of this over the last 13 years. This is what I do to give back to the community. We have no full or part-time employees. We survive on donations. Please consider making a donation when you land your next job. So thank you for joining us today. Rex, once again, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully everybody else will see you tomorrow morning or next week.